So, Symphony X is a band that has mesmerized me ever since I first listened to them back in the early 2000s. And ever since, I've been collecting their albums one by one. I've been waiting uh, eagerly for every single release to, to see the light. And one of the things that was a bit painful was the fact that you had to wait almost 5 years for the next Symphony X release. But luckily that didn't happen. We only had to wait, I think it was 3 years, 3 fucking years this time, for the new Symphony X release. So yeah, 2015 we have Underworld, and again I was really eager to listen to this album. I picked it up the day it came out. That's how crazy about this band I am. And the reason that I got into these guys in the first place was because of their amazing talent in the instruments. Their neoclassical influences are really strong. They have a little bit of power metal as well, which I'm not really big fan of, but it suits them well, because they only sprinkle a bit of power metal stuff every now and then, and that works. But yeah, we have this new record called Underworld, and what can I say about it? I didn't like the artwork cover. It looks a bit lame in comparison to the previous covers, but anyway, that's just a minor thing, as the music is the most important element. So yeah, what about the music? The music is really catchy, far too catchy, and that's one of the reasons that I felt a bit disappointed at the very beginning with this album, because it sounds way too safe. It sounds way too simplistic. I mean, Symphony X has always had an element of pop structures in the music, but I think this time around they overexceeded those limits a bit, and we have a very straightforward, generic metal record. Now, on the plus side, these guys still write great music. The songs have a lot of hooks. The choruses are extremely catchy, as I mentioned before, and that is great. I think for the normal metal fan, this album really works. This formula works because the songs are great. If you come from a place where you don't know this band at all, and this is your first introduction to Symphony X, then yeah, you are gonna like it. You're gonna love this band, in fact, because this is a very accessible album for the masses. But on the other side, we have the huge fans of this band, and the people who learn to love this band because of their complexity and because of their intricate musical passages. And for me, that's what made this band one of the most interesting in the market, alongside bands like Haken and Dream Theater. So that element that made me fall in love with this band is lacking from Underworld. That element that made their previous records so enjoyable, and that element that made me repeat and give those records hundreds and hundreds of spins. Sadly, that's the case. So yeah, I have to say that I was a bit disappointed with this record in that regard, but because I am quite open-minded and I like to see things for what they are, not for what they were in the past, this album, it is really accessible, and I'm sure it's gonna appeal a lot of people. This album is gonna gain quite a few new Symphony X fans. Maybe fans that are not into prog rock at all are really going to dig this, because again, if you love metal, straightforward metal, nothing of the musical wonkery, that's what you call it, musical wonkery that all these bands have. If you don't like that, then you're gonna love this record, because it's so straightforward, to the point. It doesn't like to mess around. It just does what it says on the tin, and yeah, you're gonna love it for that. But for me, this lacks a bit of rhythmical challenge. I don't feel as challenged listening to this record. I am gonna listen to it. Yes, I'm gonna keep listening to it, because again, I never say it's a bad record. It is a good record, but there are better ones before this one. So I think I'm gonna keep listening to Iconoclast, because that's one of my favorite records from the latest era of Symphony X. But anyway, rant over. I said everything I wanted to say, and now it's getting a bit cold in the park, so I better go.